The president has picked the vice president, Namadi Sambo, as his running mate for the 2015 elections. Now, he made this known at the PDP convention in Abuja, that was yesterday, where he polled a total of 2,812 votes in a yes or no voting pattern. Our State House correspondent Pt.2 reports.
3 major events happened at the National Convention of the People's Democratic Party. The ratification of the election of Alhaji Adamu Muazu as the chairman of the party alongside the national secretary and auditor of the party.
The PDP has set a standard.
The amendment of the party's constitution said to be in line with the dynamics of the times, and the crucial one, which is the ratification of the sole candidacy of President Goodluck Jonathan as the party's flag bearer in the 2015 presidential election. Under the watchful eyes of Senator Ken Mamani and members of the Electoral Committee, the state delegates filed out one after the other to cast their yes or no votes, since they have one presidential aspirant. President Goodluck Jonathan and the First Lady were among the first to cast their votes from the Bayelsa State VIP stand. Chief Tommy Kimi brought his experience to bear in the counting of the votes.
Yes, 72. Oyo State, voided vote 0, no vote 0, and yes vote is 91.
Then the announcement was obvious. President Jonathan polled all the yes votes in the arena.
Stands elected, in fact nominated as our presidential candidate.
Dr. Jonathan described it as an exercise that will consolidate on the gains of democracy and urged all to emulate the PDP.
Thank you.
He enumerated his achievements so far and called for support to finish what he started.
We can continue to build upon the foundation we have laid so far. We can continue with our economic progress. We can continue improving our infrastructure. We can continue delivering better health care. We can continue to improve our agriculture, and we can continue to safeguard individual liberties and freedoms.
Highlight of the night was the announcement of his running mate.
For the 2015 presidential election, Architect Namadi Sambo, a loyal and trusted partner, a dependable, trustworthy gentleman, and a true patriot, will be my running mate. I assure all Nigerians that this government will continue to do whatever is required to provide the security we deserve. It is encouraging that the security situation is improving a little, and by the grace of God, elections will be conducted in all states of the Federation.
He urged his party men to take the message home and make a mark that will secure the future of Nigeria. The People's Democratic Party is hopeful that President Goodluck Jonathan will carry the flag and sustain the winning streak they have struck here at the Eagle Square. Pt.2, Channels Television News.
Well, just a few hours after his ratification as the presidential flag bearer of the PDP in the 2015 presidential election, the president has inaugurated the PDP National Campaign Council to map out winning strategies for the party in the election. Headed by the national chairman of the party, Alhaji Adamu Muazu, the council members are drawn from the leadership of the party, some governors, the leadership of the National Assembly, and some ministers. In his inaugural speech, the president reminded them of the task ahead, which is to ensure that the People's Democratic Party wins in the general elections. In the meantime, some prominent members of the People's Democratic Party have defended the ratification of the candidacy of the president, describing it as an innovation in the democratic process. Although some members are unhappy about being excluded from the primaries, the People's Democratic Party has urged Nigerians to respect the process through which the president emerged. Others said that the next 4 years of the Jonathan administration will hold many positive things for the nation.
You need to respect the process, and you need to give people a lead on how things should be. More so when the gentleman has been doing very well. Yes, there are issues, and these are issues that we must all sit down as Nigerians to resolve. It's not a question of partisanship. The insecurity issue is everybody's issue.
We're also being very innovative in the things that we do, and we're trying to encourage our people to imbibe the culture of democracy within the party, where if by consensus people agree that a particular person has performed creditably well, then that person should be returned unopposed.
Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan has moved this country to the fore, and I can say safely that over the next 4 years, Nigeria will become a country that we could never have imagined, because the projects are already in the pipeline and they are moving. There is no question about that.
The thing is open for every person. The PDP, our party, did not stop any person from contesting. It was thrown open, and the president was given the right of first choice, and he did that. And the others also are free to pick the form and contest. PDP did not stop any person from contesting.
The former President Olusegun Obasanjo has appealed the judgments delivered by Justice Valentine Ashe of the Federal High Court Abuja, restraining the publication of his autobiography titled My Watch. Chief Obasanjo, through his lawyer, claims that the trial judge erred in law when he granted interlocutory orders of injunction which restrained the defendant from the publication of his book, and acted without jurisdiction in directing the police and security agencies to seize the book from any vendor. The former president is seeking an order setting aside the ruling of the lower court and all orders made thereunder. Chief Obasanjo is also seeking an order transferring his suit to the Chief Judge of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory for reassignment to another judge. The Southwest Democratic Party, that's the People's Democratic Party Organization and Mobilization Chairman, Mr. Buruji Kashamu, had approached the Abuja High Court, asking it to restrain Chief Obasanjo from publishing his new book, My Watch. To some security matters, and many people are feared dead after a series of explosions at the terminal area in Jos Plateau State, north-central Nigeria. Now, there appears to be a conflicting casualty figure, as the spokesman to the state governor, Pam Ayuba, was quoted by the AFP as saying that about 31 bodies have been recovered from the scene. But the Special Task Force spokesman in Jos, Captain Iweha Ikerichi, said 16 people were killed and 25 were injured. In an incident that occurred at the Commercial Nerve Center of the city, as most people were returning home from the day's activities. Our correspondent in Jos says that one of the improvised explosive devices went off near the Terminus Road, near where tricycles had clustered in large numbers, while the second blast occurred a few minutes later, targeting commuters. The police public relations officer of the Plateau State Command confirmed the incident, even as members of the National Emergency Management Agency, the Federal Road Safety Commission and the Red Cross are said to be busy transporting the injured, mostly women and children, to hospitals for treatment. Meanwhile, now tragedy has been averted in Owerri, the Imo State capital, southeast Nigeria, after an improvised explosive device was defused by men of the State Police Command. The substance was reported to have been carefully concealed in 2 strategic places within the lobby of a popular eatery around Ikenebu, a commercial and business area in the city. While conducting journalists around the scene, the Commissioner of Police in the state, Abdul Majid Ali, explained that a distress call was placed to the command around 9:30 p.m. yesterday by the manager of the eatery, and a bomb squad was dispatched to the scene. He said the substance was later confirmed to be an IED capable of causing serious damage to lives and property in the area. Well, the expectations of Nigerians for proper billing on electricity consumption may remain a dream, as the distribution companies seem not to be in a hurry to put their customers on meters. The discos have hinged their decision on the claim that some consumers tamper with installed meters and then bypass it to shortchange them. But the chairman of the National Electricity Regulatory Commission, Sam Amadi, says the commission is committed to getting meters to every household. Our big story tonight takes a look at this development and what it means for consumers.
Transmission and distribution in the country has remained perplexing, leaving the average electricity consumer totally bewildered. Protests of varying dimensions have continued to spring up as electricity consumers are boxed into a corner and pummeled with crazy bills in the midst of insufficient power supply.
We do not want somebody sitting down in an air-conditioned office and deciding that that estate should be given 500,000, 600,000 naira when there is no light.
We're going to wait for them for 48 hours. If they do not respond, if we don't get what we want, we might need to occupy this office.
The issue of inadequate metering has continued to rear its ugly head. But some of the discos we visited here attempt to throw light into their challenges.
What we do is we use scientific method to bring customers. And what is the scientific method? Means we meter our transformers and our feeders at the entry points of electricity going to a particular house. So based on the quantum of energy that is given to a particular area, we bill according to that.
So if in this case I'm able to put in place a metering process that cannot be compromised or with minimum, because it actually may not be able to have 100% efficiency in that regard too. A metering system that will have very low level of compromise. If this could get into it, we could get into trouble.
Another side to this whole imbroglio is the seeming conflict between discos and local meter manufacturers.
Why can't we have a company that will be doing transformer overhauling, that will be doing transformer recalibration, transformer reconditioning? These are things that anybody can do right here. So until the agencies like NEC, like EMS, like the ministry, and force all the distribution company to comply with strictly local content on the power sector, we won't get where we're supposed to get to.
I would say the administration has been receptive, but I need them to be even more receptive, both from the CBN level, from the governmental level, for us to actually look at this downstream sector, right, of the power sector as needing the kind of long-term, right, low interest rate and project financing, for the sector, both for me as a manufacturer and for my customers, the utilities.
But in order for us to have a better grasp of this whole dilemma, we paid a visit to the chairman of the National Electricity Regulatory Commission, Mr. Sam Amadi, who expatiated on the same playing out in the power sector.
One of the things that everybody must meet the specification. Must have approval from SOM, and they must meet the functionalities that NEC has mandated as minimum for this industry. We also encourage the discourse to patronize local manufacturers, and NEC has also made the condition for future licensing of imported meters that they have to show to us that there are not enough local meters before we can, license or give certificate to import those who are manufactured outside the country.
In the midst of all these topsy-turvy, the consumer remains the punching bag, leading to the emergence of so many unanswered questions, one of which is, why can't the consumer who has the purchasing power be given access to acquire meters directly from licensed distributors? Chris Elams reporting for Channels Television.
When the News at 10 returns, the Nigerian equities market plunges further by 3.54%. That's on Business News. Good job, sir.